What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a live show. I think it's the first one in about a week or two. Didn't do one during the international break. Not a lot of things to talk about during the international break besides the Pogba weird situation that transpired a couple of days ago. Other than that, it was a very long international break with only bad news. Bad news which we will discuss because it's extremely relevant to our game tomorrow. Because we are dealing with a lot of issues, squad issues, 100%, and it's again no excuses like you can see already. Motta's not making excuses. However, you need to acknowledge the issues we have in our squad right now, and it's up to him and up to the players to win tomorrow and find solutions to kind of bridge the next 3 games until some of the players will be back. You know, like McKennie. You know, Fajoli is in the squad, not 100%. You know, Wea just came back. Conceição was suspended, so getting these players back, those players back in the next 2-3 weeks. It's crucial. However, tomorrow it is what it is. We don't have these players at our disposal, so we need to find a solution. Say Motta needs to find a solution to overcome that and keep the points home. Not the points, because we only won 1 game at home and 3 draws. That's despite the start of the season we have. That's not good enough at home. I think everybody knows that, especially when you look at the games we play, the type of games we played in those 3 home games, it's not good enough. So that's up to Motta to find a solution, and hopefully he can do. Yeah, it's been a while since I did a live. Again, there was not much to talk about during the international break, so kind of pointless. But the next 7 games, so the next month will be hectic. So we will have a lot of things to talk about in the next month or so. So definitely more lives in the next couple of days. But yeah, let's talk about what Motta had to say in his presser. It was actually a very short presser, which was good because I didn't have a lot of time to listen to it today. So it was good that it was a quick one. But he said what he had to say. And maybe a bit more as well, because without a doubt there are things we need to address, or he needs to address, players need to address, and he got asked about that, or not even asked. At one point he just started talking about things I want journalists to ask him, but those questions never came. So he talked about it himself, which is good. But not the excuse, the debate out there is that we play too many games. You know, just football in general. And I 100% agree. I think there is too much football. I'm not on the part where it's like, oh, they are earning, millions, so they shouldn't be complaining. I'm complaining. I don't care if the players are complaining. I'm complaining. The more games, the crapper the quality goes. It's just what it is. You know, the quality at one point of the season is bad. You know, it really is bad. I'm actually hoping the Club World Cup doesn't go through because it's just... I'm just thinking about the quality of football we're going to see, the injuries, and going into next season. It's overkill at one point, and it's not fun to watch. However, the situation is what it is. We knew we were going to play a lot of games at the start of the season. Motta knew, Giuntoli knew, the players knew. We agreed, or they agreed, in person, behind the scenes, that the squad is good enough to withstand, I don't know how many games, plus 50 games this season. You cannot now go back and complain about. We can do that as fans, because we potentially said in the summer we still needed 1 or 2 more players, even though we did everything and even more. They cannot come out and say we still needed a couple more players. They can't, because then you're admitting you kind of failed in the summer. So that's what he was basically talking about. Said that we knew from the beginning about the number of matches, so we cannot complain today. Tomorrow we have a match, in 2 days another one, and we have to be ready to be at our best every time we take the field. If we have not won some games, it's because we have not really deserved it. That's the reality. Tomorrow we will face a team with players who are doing well, a very experienced coach who I admire a lot. We have to be ready for anything. So the first part, it is what it is. we play every 3 games. I like it. I think all of you guys in the chat as well or rewatching this like the fact that we play Champions League football. I don't think anyone is complaining that we play Champions League football. So you cannot complain about that. It is what it is. That second part is correct. If we didn't win these game at home, it's on us. We cannot talk about Napoli and Roma sitting back. They have every right to come to the stadium and sit back. It's on us to break them open, to find ways to beat them. And in those 2 games, we had absolutely nothing. Against Roma and Napoli, we had nothing to claim a win. Like, not even, there was not a moment in that game where I came out of that game was like, oh man, at that moment we should have won that game. No, there was just nothing in those games. There were 2 horrible games in terms of like attacking wise, controlling fine, but we didn't do anything but the control. Against Cagliari, we did everything and more to win that game, but you don't deserve to win that game if you make those mistakes. You don't. At the end of the day, if you make that mistake twice, with Vlahovic missing a sitter and Douglas Luiz losing his hat, you don't deserve to win that game, to be honest. However, football-wise, you did enough, more than enough to win that game. We created chances. It was not like Roma. It wasn't like Napoli. It was improvement. You had a lot of chances. However, you made individual errors. And it's not a team issue. It was just 2 moments that made you not deserve to win that game. That's it. Because you can make those mistakes. It's fine. It's football. But if you did your job earlier on and you scored, and you made it 2-0, 3-0, that one Vlahovic miss or that Douglas Luiz pen giveaway wouldn't have mattered because you did what you had to do. And we didn't, so we didn't deserve to win that game. We did enough to win that game in terms of like on the pitch, creating. However, you don't deserve if you just give it away at the end. That's on you or on the player, whatever you want to call it. So he's right. At this moment right now where we are sitting, I think the first time in about 5-6 years or so where I'm like, the points we have, that's what we deserve. Like every game every time I come out of the game, I'm like, yeah, that's what we deserved. That's what we should have gotten out of that game. Besides that Cagliari game where we created enough, I'm like, if you make such mistakes, then that's what you get. 1 point. Against Roma, against Napoli, 1 point. That's what you get. So he's right. And I do like the fact that he doesn't make an excuse. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's over. We cannot go back to Cagliari and win that game. It's done. Just need to move on at this moment in time. And that's what he's trying to do. And I think that's what everybody should be doing. It's over. It's done. Let me see. This Lazio side is better than last year's Lazio from what I've seen. I expect a hard for. They're more balanced than last season, 100%. They are more balanced. That's obvious. If you just look at the numbers as well, they are more balanced this season. But yeah, let's move on. The style of play. I thought I was never gonna talk about style of play or like in conferences, in press conferences, but he was asked about it because it is a topic right now. Because obviously, we play well against Cagliari and we control the ball, like we keep the ball and we move the ball quickly. We move the ball cleanly. We look good setup wise when we lose possession, when we're in possession, and it looks better on the eye. And obviously, if you don't win, the narrative comes out, oh, Allegri played ugly football and it was the same result. That's basically the narrative. That's where this question came from, basically. And like I said so many times last season, when it was Allegri in, Allegri out, the one thing Allegri in people said was, the only thing that matters is winning. Playing ugly or playing good doesn't matter. And it was never about playing good. It was about playing sustainable football. If you sit back and you win the league by just sitting back, nobody's going to complain about us sitting back. But everybody knew we were not going to win anything for years to come if that's the way we play. Sitting back against crap teams. That's it. That's it. And that's what he was saying, basically. You can still play football good and win. For some reason, last season, the narrative was if you play good football, that means you're just not going to win. That's the biggest load of rubbish you will ever hear. Because a lot of teams are memorable because they play good football or they have a style that works. That's it. Have a style. So he said, I want to see performance as a function of the result. By playing well, I mean in many situations, but always looking good, looking to get the result. We have to find the right balance between the two. We will try to put our players in the best position, in the best conditions to express themselves. And he was going on about it, saying that, you know, he said, I believe that if you play well, you have a higher chance of winning. You know, and you can put that up to debate. That's fine. I agree, by the way. And playing well again doesn't need to be, again, tiki-taka Spain football. It doesn't like we were not playing that type of football under Allegri when we were dominating. We were not playing tiki-taka style of football, but it was still good football. We played good football. It wasn't that depressing, you know. And that, forget about quality in players, just the mindset. And that back then was different than the mindset of the last 3 years. That's what he was saying. If you play good football, I do believe, yeah, you have a better chance of winning. That's what he was saying, because the narrative, I think he knows that the narrative out there is that if you play well, you cannot win. That's basically the narrative out there. That's what we were talking about last season. Oh, we need to play like this. You know, what, do you want to win? Yes or no? And he basically said, bullshit. It's bullshit, because if you play well, the chances of you winning are higher, which, well, is a fact. It is just a fact, you know. My biggest complaint is that we didn't beat Roma. The Napoli game was harder. I thought both games should be easy for us at home, to be honest. I know Napoli are top of the league, but if I'm not looking at that squad, I'm like, you're working miracles right now. I'm sorry. We should have beaten Napoli at home as well. I don't think we can play what really Motta wants with his roster. We need upgrades. Well, it's just the summer. It's just move. We cannot talk about upgrades. I mean, we needed one in the summer, and I talked about it for, I don't know, weeks and weeks and weeks, and I was getting told we don't need a ball playing center back. It's not a priority. I mean, Jesus. That was one of the biggest priorities, and it was obvious with the targets we were trying to move, you know, and we didn't get it, and that's what it is right now, and we need to deal with it, you know. But not having that ball-playing center back to the level Motta wants, to be honest, it is an issue for style of play, but I cannot say, that's why we will not have a good season, because you don't have one player. Like, come on. You're still a coach of a top club. If you don't have that one player for the season, I expect you to adapt and find solutions and do whatever it takes to bridge that one season, and then you get the new player or the player you want. So that's how I'm looking at it. If Lazio park the bus again, and we don't win, plus aren't able to break them down, I'm concerned. If Lazio park the bus, we will break them down tomorrow. Even with the squad we have, I think we will. Should we get Zirkzee on loan from Man U? You know, Serie A is played under Motta's system. No, we shouldn't. It's obviously not going to happen, but we should not, like, loaning Zirkzee it's pointless for our future. You know, if you want a player, you need to make sure that player is going to be your player. No loans, no helping Man U to get a player back into rhythm. It's fantasy. It's not going to happen, but forget about it. A loan. If it's a loan with a player of that caliber and profile, it needs to be a definitive, like, it needs to be a permanent transfer somehow, because again, we cannot be that club to help players boost their careers and then send them back. Like, we can't be that club. And do like the videos, people. All the videos, but especially this one. Do like that video 100%. Now let's move on, because we talked about injuries. Suspensions. We have a squad issue right now. Like, it's not an excuse. It's a fact. Like, it's just a fact. We are missing players. McKennie's not there. Koopmeiners is not there. Fagioli is there, but I don't know in which capacity he will be there. Bremer is gone. Conceição was suspended. Gonzalez is injured. We have a squad problem. Like, that's just a fact, you know. And we have enough like if we didn't have Colt Miners, I'm like, cool, we have solutions. But Fajoli not being fit and McKennie also being out, well, it speaks for himself. That's what we have right now. Like it is what it is. You know, the players we have right now, we don't have a lot of options. So I think the lineup should kind of make itself. Right now, I think the biggest miss, and people might call me crazy right now, is Colt Miners. And I'm purely looking at it as a standpoint from Motta's standpoint, because despite what you think about Colt Miners, oh, he's not having a good enough impact and this and that, for Motta, he is important. And not having him probably for the next 3 games, and which one of those games includes Inter, is painful. It's painful because I when I look at Colt Miners and I saw post Cagliari, I think, I don't know, it was out there on social media, on Twitter, that somebody put out his passing accuracy and it was like 75 and everybody was trolling in, and I was like, I'm cool with that. If he plays in that position, I'm fine. That was not the issue against Cagliari. Against Cagliari, he had 2 situations. One where he could have played in Bangula 1-on-1, and one where he should have took a shot, excuse me. But he passed it sideways, I think it was. Those were my issues. Like the decision making at that moment in time. That was my issue. Not the passing accuracy, because if he plays in that position, I want him to take some risks. Like he needs to take some risks. But I think he's been playing well. You know, he missed some chances. You know, the sitter against Genoa, I think also a sitter against Leipzig for his quality. Those were the issues where it's like, how are you not scoring these things? Like, you need to have some goals right now. You need to contribute. That I can totally run with. But he's been playing well. And not having him is a massive thing. You know, it is massive, especially for that Inter game, which we'll talk about next week. But it is a massive thing, you know. However, we do have an option, and that option is Douglas Luiz, you know. Maybe not in position, we'll talk about the lineup in a second, but just Douglas Luiz coming on and needing to step up, you know. We talked about it, I think, the day after the Cagliari game, where it's like, what is Douglas Luiz's mindset right now? Like, how is he going to go in the international break, you know, thinking about, like, there's no, like, that game happened on Sunday, I think it was, and then it's done. It's 2 weeks. Like, you are being sent 2 weeks in training with, I gave away a pen against Leipzig and Cagliari, and one of those games actually cost us. That's what he was talking about, you know. That's what I was talking about, excuse me. Now he talked, like, he was he's probably thinking about it for 2 weeks, and now he needs to step up. He needs to step up. Motta said his attitude in training has been good. He's doing well. In difficult moments, it's good to see people's reaction, and I saw a fantastic reaction from him. So far, when he has played, he has done well, but he can improve. Now, as I also said, the issue with Douglas Luiz, like, when he comes on that pitch, I'm not looking at Douglas Luiz and I'm like, oh, man, that's horrible. Like, you look like a Serie B type of footballer or something. That's not the issue with Douglas Luiz right now. The issue is that Leipzig game, the entire cameo, and that one moment against Cagliari. Because on the ball, it was good. It was just, he lost his head. That is the issue with Douglas Luiz. That's why I'm not extremely worried, because it's not football that's the issue right now. It's not his ability that's completely gone for some reason. That's the issue right now. It's just head losses right now. That's it. That's the issue. And I think that's just purely on trust, like confidence. So that's why I'm calm right now that he will resolve that, and he's going to play tomorrow. If he doesn't start tomorrow, then I will be lost for words in terms of, if you're not starting him now with basically a half your midfield out, then I think you lost him. I think you will lose him completely. If you tell Douglas Luiz, McKennie is out, Fajoli is out, or not fit enough to start, and Colt Miners is injured, but I'm still not going to play you, then I'm not sure how he's going to recover from that mentally. So he's probably going to play. Colt Miners has been good so far this season. I know people are smoking. I think he's been okay, but he can take, I don't know, 1,000 steps further than what he's showing now, because he's much, much better. And that's not... It is maybe a knock, but I think his abilities are extremely more higher than what he's has been showing right now. Come on, Douglas, we show me, and some others that we're wrong. I also think some were going too over the top on Luiz. It's 2 games, let him cook and give him time. Douglas Luiz strike me as a guy who would have gone to Saudi this summer if you didn't go for him. I don't have that feeling. You could be right. I don't know. And again, like I don't think anyone's writing Douglas Luiz off. It's just, it's very obvious that there is an issue in terms of like confidence and so on. So you need to address that. It's kind of pointless to act like it didn't happen. It did happen. Everybody can see it. Motta can see it. He can see it. Like, we all saw it, that it is an issue right now that needs to be resolved, because we're going to need him, and he's going to play. Like, he's going to play throughout the season, and he's probably going to play tomorrow. So let's move on to the potential or the predicted starting 11. It's from Sky Italia, so it could change, but looking at the options, it's probably not going to change, is it? So it's Di Gregorio, Gatti, Kalulu, Savona, Cabal, which we'll talk about in a second. Locatelli, Thuram, Douglas Luiz, Cambiaso, Yildiz, Vlahovic. It's probably not going to be in this setup. I don't think it's going to be in this setup. I think things will be moved around. The players on the pitch, like the 11 on the pitch, the names, are they good enough to beat Lazio? Yes, 100%. But there are some concerns. One, which we just discussed, Douglas Luiz. We don't know how he's going to react to that last week or those couple of days before the international break. We have no idea. But we talked about it, so that's the one question mark. The other thing I'm not 100% convinced about, and I see somebody talking about Cambiaso, I'm not a fan of Cambiaso in that position. I'm not, and not that he plays horrible in that position, but he doesn't have the impact he has when he comes from way in behind, away from the back. That's how I'm looking at it. Again, not that he will have horrible games whatsoever. It's just that he offers way more in his natural position than as a winger right now. But that's the club situation. No Conceição, no Gonzalez, and Weah's just back in training. So that's it. Cambiaso, you play everywhere, and you're going to need to play again everywhere tomorrow. So Cambiaso, another quote-unquote question mark, purely based on the position. And then the other one is Cabal. We haven't seen him. I was at the stadium when he got subbed. Halftime against Roma. And that was the last time he saw or he touched grass, basically. And that's a long time ago. That was match day... was it match day 3? I think that was match day 3, and it's match day 8 right now with 2 Champions League games in between. So Cabal hasn't played in ages, basically, and now he needs to start a game. Do I trust him? I do. I do trust him, but it's going to be interesting to see how the player is going to react after being benched at halftime and then not playing ever since, So hopefully Motta knows that his mindset is 100%. He's locked in, and, he will perform. But again, we do not have a lot of options, Somebody saying, or R&B.com saying Danilo on right wing. I think that I will deactivate the channel. I 100% will deactivate the channel if Danilo plays right wing. But Danilo not playing again is, well, significant. The news came out that Romano saying that Danilo is in talks, not Juve. Danilo basically asked for the club to remove that clause, and it's very simple because he realized, I'm cooked. I'm done. And maybe that's also not the reason why I'm not playing that much, because maybe if that clause is not out there, if that clause is just gone, maybe Motta will play me more. Maybe that's not in the back of his mind, because financially I'm gonna be a burden for the club, So maybe, but Danilo not starting again. That's the normality. I was looking for a word, but that's just normal right now. Danilo not playing again. It's not a shock. It's just Motta doesn't rate him. Period. It's as simple as that. I would have liked to see a 4-4-2 with Yildiz and Vlahovic on top if we had less injuries in the mid. Again, I don't think that's going to be the 100% setup. You know, I think Yildiz will play a lot behind Vlahovic. I think Thuram will overlap more so, and Douglas Luiz will slot in, and Cambiasso will probably play all over the place. So those are basically the names. Let's see. Will there be a surprise tomorrow? Maybe, but there's not a lot of options for Motta to go out there and say, "Here we go." You know, I'm playing that player in that position. Like, those are the players he has. Like, as well on the bench. Like, if tomorrow, if it goes 0-0 for a long time, or we're losing, you know, and we need something from the bench, you have a Fagioli who has a knock, and you know, it's not a game changer in terms of like he's gonna break it open. And you have Timothy Weah, who's extremely inconsistent and also just back from injury. So we don't have a lot of options. Not to say we have no options from the bench right now. So these guys are gonna need to do it. They're gonna need to do it, you know. And it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Am I confident? Not really, to be honest. Like, I would be more... Even if that was a lineup, but we had a Colt Miners and a Conceição and a Gonzalez on the bench, I would be more confident, because I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, if this doesn't work, we have something from the bench. But right now, we don't have anything from the bench, really. So these guys are going to need to do it. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Transfer market took 50 million from Douglas Luiz. Transfer value from 70 to 55. Yeah, prosecutors are not gonna like that, are they? But yeah, prediction time, people. Let me know your prediction in the comment section. I like the video in the meantime. I'm gonna go. Let me think. I don't know. I have a very good feeling on the game tomorrow. I have a weird feeling, but I'm gonna go with. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go 1-0. I was thinking about 2-1, but I'm gonna go 1-0. I think tomorrow, and I don't want to jinx it because usually we do that, is for us key to keep it close in terms of do not give away, do not make it a very stretchy game, do not make it a basketball type of game. Just keep it clean, keep it short, you know, in terms of like keep it close, everything, and just take that chance that's gonna come to you, because despite how good Lazio has been playing, they do give up quite a lot, in my opinion. Even if they sit back, and I don't think Lazio are gonna come to the stadium and sit back. I don't think that's what they're gonna do. Not to the extent like Napoli did, for example. I'm not saying they come to the stadium and be all open, you know, and just take it to us from minute one. But I don't think they're gonna sit back to a Napoli type of extent. So I'm gonna go 1-0. I'm gonna go with Cambiasso scoring the goal. So 1-0 Cambiasso. Yeah, I mean, we need to win. We definitely need to win, and it would be massive for us if we win tomorrow. If we win tomorrow, and it's with that lineup, and it's again a clean win where it's not, you know, we gave away a lot of chances, and you come out of that game and you're like, oh, man, we're just lucky that we have that result. If it's a really good performance where it's like, okay, this is it, you know, we did well, and we come out of that game, and it's important that we actually, you know, have a good feeling out of that. That's fantastic. That's what we need. So, yeah. A Juve corner cast. I was watching a live you did. Text me on Insta or Twitter on my profile, on my personal profile. But I don't think you can send a text to the main Twitter account unless you're verified. But send me one on Instagram or Twitter, and we can maybe link up, you know, and do some content together. Okay, 2-0, 2-1. Lazio doesn't scare me offensively. they've been pretty good, to be honest. Surprisingly good, especially for me, because I didn't expect much from him. So for me, surprisingly good. 3-1, 1-0 Cabal, 2-1. I really like two of their players, Guendouzi and Castellanos. Castellanos is a up and down player. I know a lot of people do not like Guendouzi. I like Guendouzi, but he's also a hot or cold. If he's hot, he's very good. If he's cold, he's absolutely rubbish, you know. So it depends. It depends. 2-1 Vlahovic. Immobile. Yeah, Immobile plays for Besiktas, so that's not going to be easy. I'm more focused on the performance over the result tomorrow. I want to see progress. To be honest, on the flip side, I just need a win. Tomorrow, I need a win because I've seen the performances. They're always the same. The way we play. So if we do not play like that for one game, I'm like, fine, because we will do that the next week against Stuttgart. It will be fine. I just want the result tomorrow over everything. I really do, you know. After international break, after a Cagliari game, ahead of Stuttgart and Inter, I just want the result because the performance, I know we will have the performances back if we just have an off day in terms of performance. I just want to win tomorrow. I don't care how lucky. I agree. For once, I agree. Okay, DM me on Instagram. I will check in a sec. Guendouzi is out. He's out. Is he out? I thought he was back. He was injured or he had a niggle. Is he suspended then? Did I miss something? He had a niggle, but I thought that was like weeks ago. Is he suspended then? Or did he pick something up I missed? Mario Gila from Lazio is an underrated ball. He's playing well. He's playing really, really well. Actually, the way Lazio's... Did you talk about Atsic? I'm not really sure what to talk about because Motta said that... Motta said he has less responsibilities than the other one. Which is obvious. And he said he's good in training and he will be ready when called upon. But right now, like he had two injuries. Like right now, if this is in January and he hasn't played in January, we need to look for his career and maybe send him to the next gen. He needs to play games. You know, he's not been playing since he actually joined the club because of injuries. So it's not an ideal situation for him. You know, wouldn't be shocked if he plays tomorrow. No, however, just going off Motta's response on Atsic, I didn't have a feeling he was gonna get his debut anytime soon. I could be wrong, excuse me, but that was just a general feeling. He is out, Guendouzi, okay, which is better for us, I guess. You know, I think he was playing well this season as well, or it was more consistent than the previous seasons, that's for sure. But yeah, people, that's it. That's a preview. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will be back tomorrow with my reaction, and then we will be live on Sunday for the post-day live show with Norbert and probably Malik as well. So stay tuned for that one. And that's it for me. Hopefully we'll win. Hopefully we're all excited and buzzing tomorrow, and hopefully we do not win and then need to build up to Stuttgart and Inter with in the back of our mind, another not home win against a game without a win at home, excuse me. I don't think that's ideal, but let's talk about that for tomorrow. Let's keep that for tomorrow. Let's win that game, and then we will see what we will do against Stuttgart and Inter, you know. But yeah, people, that's it. Have a good evening or morning, depending on where you're watching from, and stay safe.